Okay, this is Perpetual Energy Device number 1, part 2. This is the second tape. I don't know how many tapes it's going to be. Each tape, I can only put 10 minutes on each video. I've introduced the general concept. So this is Perpetual Energy Device number 1, part 2. Now, the first part, if you want to know what that was about, just go back and watch the Perpetual Energy Device, supposed to be a circular disc weighted around the edge, and in the middle, you've got a generator. Once you get this accelerated, you engage a motor, which acts like the kid's hand at the merry-go-round on the playground. Once you get it spinning, you can just tap it and keep it going. And then you engage you engage a generator right here, so that you can capture the energy. And this motor right here is what's spinning, keeping the disc spinning. But what happens is the generator creates drag. Well, you remember how I said it was weighted around the outer edge? Well, that's much like, let's think about this for a moment. I'm going to start introducing some new concepts. We're going to start advancing this. You got this girl with her leg like that. Remember how the skaters, I don't know how to do the shoe for the skate, but anyway, they spin around, the girl spins around, and as she brings her arms in, the skater, she spins faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Okay? Spinning faster and faster. Well, we can use that here to compensate for the fact that the generator is going to create drag on the disc that is spinning. Now, how that's done, we're not going to get into specifics just yet. And then another concept I want to get into is, just like with the combustion engine, you got a piston and the combustion chamber. Of course, the spark over here pushes the piston down. If you'd said, well, let's make a combustion engine with a combustion chamber and a piston, that's not a very good drawing of it, but it's just a general idea here. With just one chamber and one piston, it wouldn't be very effective at removing a whole vehicle like a car or a truck. So what they did was they created 4 of them. They created 1, 2, 3, 4. So while one is combusting and pushing the piston down, the next one does the same thing, pushes the piston down, and as those are turning the engine, each one is successively keeping the motion of the engine, the spinning of the engine. And that's what they do. They all work together in a system. Well, that's what we're going to be doing with the Perpetual Energy Device, as illustrated in Perpetual Energy Device number 1, the video. You go back to that one and look at that. You'll understand what this is about. It's a terrible drawing of it. What we're going to do is, remember the skater who has her arms out and pulls them in. As she pulls them in, she's going to be spinning faster and faster. You remember that. You've seen skaters do it on TV. So we're going to use that. On these little tracks, we're going to have, around the outer edge, it's going to be weighted. Well, the weight's going to be moved in towards the middle. As the generator starts to create drag on the device, we're going to slowly move those weights in towards the middle, compensating for the drag. The weights moving in towards the middle is what's going to want to make the disc spin faster, while the generator is going to want to make it spin slower. Another thing we're going to look at in tapes, let's see, parts 3, 4, possibly 5, depending on what I can get. I'm trying to cover a lot in 10 minutes, is layering or levels. Instead of just having one disc, let's elongate this center and have other discs. Just like there's 4 chambers and 4 pistons on one engine, you can't do it with just one combustion chamber or one piston. Well, to create the piston effect, if you will, to create a system for this Perpetual Energy Device design, we're going to have other discs. And as long as we're going with the piston design, let's say we're going to have, 4 of them. So that while just like the skater again, who brings her arms in as she's spinning, starts to spin, and it looks like she's going slow. As she brings her arms in, starts spinning faster and faster. We're going to use that effect to keep the motion. Instead of spinning this faster and faster, what we're using that for is to compensate for the drag of the generator it's going to create on this device. One generator, we're going to have 4 discs, which is really going to be underneath it actually. I'm just putting that up there for illustration, just to give you the idea there's going to be 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. This isn't exactly how it's going to look, okay? Disclaimer there. What's going to happen is each one, as the first disc starts bringing its weights towards the middle, there's going to be 2 other ones at different places. Their weights are going to be at different places on each disc. So that we want to take the most amount of time to move the weights out to the edge, but a lesser amount of time to bring them in towards the middle to keep congruity of, there's a lot of people are having a problem with the word momentum. They like inertia, to keep the inertia of the spinning disc. So, actually I guess I have covered it all. I don't know how many minutes that is, but that's the general concept. I'll actually take these separately and kind of go through them a little bit more in parts 3, maybe part 4. I don't know if now if I'll even need part 4. As I get feedback on this and know what people are saying, well, what about this? What do you mean there? Or whatever like that. Then I'll come up with what I put on part 3 if this isn't clear. But imagine, if you will, just the first video, Perpetual Energy Device number 1, is what these discs are representing here in this illustration. We're going to have the generator on top, and underneath, on the same stem, 4 discs, each with their weights at different places, so that as the motor is spinning them, to keep the whole thing going. What's going to help with that is just like the skater who brings her arms in and spins faster. One disc is going to be bringing, actually 2 of them are at different places, and the weights are going to be moving in towards the middle, and the other 2, the weights are going to be moving out towards the outer edge, slowly. Now the ideal thing is to have 1 disc at a time with the weights all the way out at the edge. And they're not going to be at the same places. Like these aren't going to have weights at exactly the same places just because they're the 2 that the weights are moving out. We actually want to move the weights out more slowly than we move them in. That's the reason for all 4 discs, and of course I got to go through that again on another tape. So 3 of them are moving out. We got 1 that has them either all the way in. I may have to add let's see. No, I think I'll go with that for now. We're going to keep working on this. Use this effect, bringing the weights in towards the middle to spin it faster and faster. And we're going to keep the other ones. We can actually pick and choose by moving the motor to different discs, or we can have 1 motor out here maybe that goes to a, what do you call that? I don't know, something that has 4 spinners on it that can spin these discs. Oh, we'll see what happens. So let's work on this together and get it going.